Joshua 6, 1-20. The gates of Jericho were shut tight and guarded closely because of the people of Israel. No one went out, no one came in. Then the Lord spoke to Joshua. He said, I have handed Jericho over to you. I have also handed its king and its fighting men over to you. March around the city once with all of your fighting men. In fact, do it for 6 days. Have 7 priests get trumpets that are made out of ram's horns. They must carry them in front of the ark. On the 7th day, march around the city 7 times. Have the priests blow the trumpets as you march. You will hear them blow a long blast on the trumpets. When you do, have all of the men give a loud shout. The wall of the city will fall down. Then the whole army will go up to the city. Every man will go straight in. So Joshua, the son of Nun, called for the priests. He said to them, Go and get the ark of the covenant of the Lord. I want 7 of you to carry trumpets in front of it. He gave an order to the men. He said, Move out! March around the city. Some of the fighting men must march in front of the ark of the Lord. When Joshua had spoken to the men, the 7 priests went forward. They were carrying the 7 trumpets as they marched in front of the ark of the Lord. They were blowing the trumpets. The ark of the Lord's covenant was carried behind the priests. Some of the fighting men marched ahead of the priests who were blowing the trumpets. The others followed behind the ark and guarded all of them. That whole time the priests were blowing the trumpets. But Joshua had given an order to the fighting men. He had said, Don't give a war cry. Don't raise your voices. Don't say a word until the day I tell you to shout. Then shout. So he had the ark of the Lord carried around the city once. Then the men returned to camp. They spent the night there. Joshua got up early the next morning. The priests went and got the ark of the Lord. The 7 priests who were carrying the 7 trumpets started out. They marched in front of the ark of the Lord. They blew the trumpets. Some of the fighting men marched ahead of them. The others followed behind the ark and guarded all of them. The priests kept blowing the trumpets. On the 2nd day, they marched around the city once. Then the men returned to camp. They did all of those things for 6 days. On the 7th day, they got up at sunrise. They marched around the city just as they had done before. But on that day, they went around it 7 times. On the 7th time around, the priests blew a long blast on the trumpets. Then Joshua gave a command to the men. He said, Shout! The Lord has given you the city. The city and everything that is in it must be set apart to the Lord in a special way to be destroyed. But Rahab and all those who are with her in the house must be spared. And that's because she hid the spies we sent. But keep away from the things that have been set apart to the Lord. If you take any of them, you will be destroyed, and you will bring trouble in the camp of Israel. You will cause it to be destroyed. All of the silver and gold is holy. It must be set apart to the Lord. So are all of the articles that are made out of bronze and iron. All of those things must be added to the treasures that are kept in the Lord's house. The priests blew the trumpets. As soon as the fighting men heard the sound, they gave a shout. Then the wall fell down. Every man charged in, so they took the city.
Hello and welcome to Israel News.
Today is Sunday in the land of Canaan, and it's been a lovely morning.
Today we will be uncovering the interesting strategy of Israel CEO Joshua and his plans. In order to receive the cities of Jericho, God has given our people a very interesting plan.
It was just announced that to be successful with the takeover and receive the blessings God has ordained for the peoples of Israel, we must march around the city of Jericho once every day for 6 days, and 7 times on the 7th day, and then blow trumpets and yell.
Mom, co-editor, are you sure you got those instructions correct?
Yes, Peanut. Co-anchor. Israel and her leaders are being judged by our obedience to the covenant. Sometimes we march around a city making a bunch of noise, and sometimes we sit on a couch, becoming still, and just wait. Faith doesn't come in a bushel basket, Missy. It comes one step at a time. Decide to trust him for one little thing today, and before you know it, you'll find out he's so trustworthy you're putting your entire life in his hands.
But shouldn't we be scared? This plan sounds crazy. They have bigger armies. They got more supplies. They have more food. Everyone is scared!
Remember what God said to Joshua. Have I not commanded you to be strong and courageous? Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go.
So, I shouldn't be nervous?
It's okay to be scared and cautious. Take a nice deep breath. Breathe out. Good, one more. Breathe in. Breathe out. Good. Patience is not the ability to wait, but the ability to keep a good attitude while waiting. We dream of roses while walking on thorns.
But the walls don't fall. I'm sure the viewers like to know.
The Lord said, so do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. So viewers, stay strong as you can, and during the times you can't, allow someone else to be strong for you. Let's tune in for more footage for the final lap around on the 7th day.
Shout, for the Lord has given you the city.
That looks like a landslide!
Thanks for tuning in, and I'm assuming all of our viewers have a lot of packing to do. Onward to Jericho, and have a great day.
Signing out for Israel News.
Discussions with your family. What was this story about? Do you think the plan sounded crazy? What were the weapons that God instructed them to use? What are you afraid of? Is there anything making you anxious or scared right now? What lessons did God want the children of Israel to learn about conquering Jericho? What are some things we can do to feel more faithful, safe, and secure?